back to Shark Attack Part 2. Now last time we learned a lot about what makes a shark a shark. This time we're going to learn all about the different types of sharks. So just a reminder, I'm your host, Chloe Griffin, and we're going to start off by taking back out that binder that we were working with before. So in here we got a couple more new pages that we're going to look at. So the first one we're going to see are these really cool shark bookmarks, right? So these are really awesome bookmarks, and they tell you all about different types of sharks. So we have quite a few on here, and there's actually 2 pages for you to look at. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at these. Go ahead, take some time, cut them out, get an adult to help you. So go ahead and find that pair of scissors. And whenever you get these all together, you're going to take a look and you're going to read about some sharks. So this is what it'll look like when you cut them out. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and cut these out. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some of these really cool features. So here we have the size of the shark. We have the weight. It has the lifespan, the type of food they eat, and then a cool, really fun fact about these specific types of sharks. So go ahead, take some time, read through these, and you're going to decide which type of shark is your favorite. All right, so we know that there are a lot of different types of sharks, right? So there's actually over 500 species. Isn't that crazy? That's a lot of different sharks. We tend to think of sharks as being these big, evil monster sharks, right? But there's a lot of different ones. So take a look at these. Go ahead, pause the video. And if you want to figure out which one's your favorite out of here, that's totally fine. But if none of these are very interesting, then I have some really cool other ones to share. All right, so I have 3 of my personal favorites that I want you to take a look at. So we're going to start off with the smallest type of shark, the smallest ever. This is actually a really, really small type of fish, and this is what's called the dwarf lantern shark. All right, so you see this right here. This is actually smaller than a person's hand. Isn't that crazy? That's how tiny some of these sharks are. And remember I said before how over half of all sharks are less than 3 feet long? That means that there's a lot of really tiny sharks out there. So it doesn't have to be, the really big scary one that's your favorite. It can actually be the really, really small ones. So the next one we're going to talk about is the biggest shark ever. And this is actually the biggest fish ever also. And this is called the whale shark. So whale sharks are actually my personal favorite animal ever. They are just the coolest animal because they're really, really big, but they're also really, really gentle and really nice. So as you can see, whale sharks are known for their white spots that they have all over them. So they're covered in these white spots, and they're also really, really known for being super gentle giants, which means that sometimes adults can even go and swim with them. Sometimes even kids will go and swim with them. It's crazy because they're just that nice. And there's actually some of these in an aquarium in Georgia. The Georgia Aquarium has some really awesome whale sharks. And maybe someday, you'll get to go see them because they're really cool. Now these are my definite favorite because they're so huge and they're so gentle and they're so nice. But another one of my favorites, which is a little creepy, this is probably the creepiest type of shark there is. So if you get really scared of sharks, you might want to close your eyes for a minute. But this is what's called the goblin shark. Now, this shark is so cool because it lives really, 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 really deep in the ocean. So it lives really, really far down, and it has this cool mouth that can literally come out of so its jaw can literally come out of its mouth. It is so cool. And they have all of these teeth, and they look a little scary, but they've never hurt a human before because they're so far deep into the ocean. And they have these really long snouts, and these help them, remember like we talked about before, it helps them to have this really cool 6th sense, right? So it can pick up on all of these electrical signals from all the fish in the ocean, right? So it's a really cool type of shark. One of my personal favorites, and they're not seen a lot by people because they're so deep in the ocean, but we know just a little bit about them to know that they're really awesome. All right, so now you've learned about a couple of your different sharks, and I hope that now you can kind of find a favorite. So we always love learning about the different types because there are just so many. So after you take a look at your bookmarks and you heard about these cool types of sharks, I'm hoping that you'll do me a favor and you'll look at this next page where you're going to decide which shark is your favorite. And here you are actually going to draw a picture of your favorite shark. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can base it off of one of your bookmarks that has just the little pictures right here, or maybe you can get an adult and they can help you to maybe look up some other pictures of these sharks. And you can even find a shark that's not on any of these lists, none of the ones that I've mentioned. Do a little research at home and find one that is really, really, really your favorite, because there's just so many to choose from. All right, so once you do that, you're going to go ahead and draw your picture, and then you're going to do a really awesome craft with me. All right, so we're going to make our very own shark cootie catcher. Now this cootie catcher is only going to move in one direction, and if you've never heard of a cootie catcher, you might be thinking, what's that? I don't know. But it's pretty simple to make, and we're going to cut one out and make it, and this is what it's going to look like. And after you make it, you can run around and torment your families by singing Baby Shark. Yeah, that'd be awesome, right? So you can do Baby Shark. Anyway, so once you make one of these, you'll have a lot of fun. But we're going to go ahead and start. So on your next page, after your picture that you're going to draw, you're going to find some instructions. So these are the instructions for the shark cootie catcher. And you can follow along with these, or you can just listen to my video. But definitely have an adult around just to make sure if you have any problems. You're going to need this paper right here. That's the next one in your packet. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to want to cut out this big square and these little fins. All right, so I'm going to do that with you. And you're also going to need your glue stick. So go ahead, take a minute if you need to, pause the video. Make sure you have those scissors out. You should have them from the bookmarks, or you can get them from your bag if you still need to. And also go ahead and get a glue stick. So pause the video if you need to and get those now. So here are mine, right here. And I have my pair of scissors and I have my glue stick. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the big square and those little fins. And we actually have 4 fins here, which is a little different than what we dealt with before. Because remember, we kept on talking about how there were 3 fins, right? So we had a dorsal fin, and we had those 2 pectoral fins. Well, in this case, we're actually going to make 2 of those fins into 1. So we're still just going to have 3 fins. But 2 of the fins on your little sheet are going to become your dorsal fin. All right? Just in case you were wondering what in the world was going on with that. And this big square that we're cutting out, this one is going to be the body of our shark. So here we're going to have everything with the eyes. We're going to have the mouth with all the teeth that we dealt with before. And this one's going to be really cool because it's going to be able to move around. I think you're going to have a lot of fun making it. So just take a minute, go ahead and cut out all these. And the little tiny fins can be a little tricky. So again, if you need an adult to help you out, that's totally fine. And if I'm cutting these out a little bit fast for you, you can pause the video and go ahead and take some time. And if they're not perfect, that's okay too. You know, if they're a little bumpy on the edges, that's totally fine. We're just going to go ahead and finish cutting these out. And look, I'm almost done. So we already have 3 of my fins here. And go ahead and make sure that as you're cutting these out, you're putting them in a really safe place. Because we don't want to lose them because we need all of our fins. And there we go. Awesome. So if you don't have your fins and your big square cut out yet, that's totally fine. You can pause the video and just take a little bit longer. But once you have those done, remember you should have 4 fins and right here, your big square. Now this is what we're going to be focusing on at first. And here we're going to do a lot of folding. So we're going to be making our cootie catcher. And make sure you're looking at your instructions because this gives a good idea of how to do it. But if not, if you just want to follow along, that's totally fine. So we're going to start off by just looking at our cootie catcher right here. And for every fold we make, we're actually going to use our glue stick. And we're going to make sure that fold is what's really called like crisp. That's what it's called. So you want to make sure you have this really, really nice fold. And I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your square and you're going to lay it where the blank part is facing up. And we're going to fold our square where we have both of our eyes like this, right? So we want both of our eyes looking at us. And we're just going to make sure it's folded in half. And this is what some people might call a hot dog fold. And we're going to take our edges and we're just going to do like this. Awesome. We're going to go to the other side and we're just going to make sure our paper is very nicely folded in half. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't get it completely folded right, if it's just a little bit, you know, different on the edges, that's okay. But once you have it folded where it's looking at you just like this, then we're going to take the glue stick and we're just going to go right over that fold you just made. And this makes our fold nice and what's called crisp. Awesome. So once we get that, we're actually going to unfold it. And now you're just going to have this nice line going across your square. We're going to fold it the other way now. So now we're just going to have one eye looking at us in one side of the mouth. So as you can see, what I've done right here is I've just taken my square, and instead of folding it this way, now I'm folding it this way. Awesome. So it's just the other way from where you folded it before. And you're going to do the same thing where you go ahead and you make sure that your edges are put together. You're going to fold it. Yes. Awesome. And see, I had my fold a little jagged that time. That's totally fine. If it gets a little bit off, you can just do a refold like that. Okay. So once you get it where you want it, you're going to take your glue stick just like before. You're going to go over that fold. Make it nice and crisp. Awesome. All right. So now, if we unfold it again, we have sort of a cross right here. So it's going across there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually fold in some of these corners. So we're going to face it where we have our blanks part facing upwards. And we're going to grab each corner and we're going to bring it into the middle. So I'm just going to start with one of them. And I'm going to take the corner and I'm just going to fold it right up here. Right into the other corner, just like that. Fold it down. And as you can see, what this is doing is it's making it where we have each corner is going to go into here, and we're just going to have another new square from these 4 triangles. Awesome. All right, so every fold you make sure you go over it with your glue stick. So I just did my first one. Now I'm going to go to my second one. Go ahead and fold that over. Again, we're going to go over it with the glue stick. And make sure every time you use your glue stick, it's the caps on it also. Just a reminder. You don't want to get glue all over our folding right here. All right, and we're going to go over the next one. Again, use that top of the glue stick with the cap on it. That way we get these nice crisp folds. And then our last part. All right, so once we have all those done, I gotta do it one more time. It's crazy, right? Okay, so now we're going to, after we have all 4 done, we're gonna have the white side facing us again, right? So we're gonna have it where it's flipped over like this time. And we're gonna lay it down. We're gonna do the same thing we just did, where we fold in 4 corners, but this time it's just these new corners that we just made. So we're gonna take one and we're gonna fold it in, fold it to the middle. All right, so that's my first corner. And as you can see, it's kind of the same way we did it before, right? Now you have this on the back, and you have this on the front. All right, so then we have our first one done, so now we're gonna do our second. And we're gonna make sure that we go over each one again with our closed glue stick, just to make sure it's nice and firm. So I just got my second one. Now I'm gonna do the third. And again, for every one, just make sure you're going over it to make sure it's really firm. Then I have my last one. All right. All right, so at this point, you should have something that looks kind of like this. So you're going to see that there's these jagged lines, and you're going to have a blue side and a white side. So this is how it should look. This is how it should look. And if you flip it over, it's going to look something like this, right? So where you have these 2 eyes on top, everything like that. Now here comes kind of the tricky part. So this is the part where we're gonna fold it in and we're gonna make this our actual cootie catcher. So the first thing we're gonna do, and again you can look back at your instructions because these are really helpful, and we are going to fold the shape in half. So we're gonna get this nice long rectangle, and we're gonna make sure that the side with the teeth go to the inside, okay? So we just have it like this, and we're gonna fold it inwards from here. All right, so we're gonna have the teeth on the inside and the eyes facing out. It's just folding it in half. Now once we have this is where we really make it. Okay, so we have it folded. It should look something like this, where you have your 2 eyes, you have these teeth on the inside. Yeah, just like that. And then we're gonna take our hands And you might need a grown-up to help with this. That's totally okay. But you're going to actually reach into these folds. So you see where under the eyes, there's these folds on the back, like this, and they folds up like this on these sides, folds up like this on these sides. We're going to reach our fingers in, and we're just going to go all the way to the top. All right, now if we reach in here, then we have what looks like a cootie catcher. Okay, so if you've never made a cootie catcher before, these are just really cool to know how to make too. And you can always make a cootie catcher kind of like this. And a lot of people like to play with cootie catchers by doing something like this, and you'll like fold out the inside and you'll see things. Well, right now we're making a shark, so we're not really going to be doing all that, but this is just for your knowledge that this is how you make a cootie catcher. Awesome. Well, we don't really want our shark's head to go this way, right? Because that looks kind of crazy. And there's just no reason for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually glue that part together. So you should have, again, something that looks kind of like this cool square. You should be able to move it in 2 different directions. But we're going to go ahead and glue it together. That way it doesn't look kind of scary, right? So we're going to take our glue stick, and we're going to get to the inside here. You see where these 2 eyes are? Right here. So we're going to go to the inside fold right here onto this side, and we're just going to glue on the blue part. So it's the inside blue part, and you're just going to put a little bit of glue in there. All right, and you're going to do the same thing on the inside where you see the white. And again, you just need to do one side. If you want to do both, that's totally fine. It's just a lot of glue. And you're just going to glue it. So you're gluing this part right here and this part right here. All right, so then what we're going to do, we're just going to press these together. And you can reach inside, and it's kind of helpful more to reach inside and go ahead and get those pressed. All right, so just hold those together for a few seconds. And what that's doing is it really is keeping your shark's head together, which is really what we want. So now our shark cootie catcher only opens in one direction. See that? So now he just has his mouth opening. Awesome. Well, what's next? Now we have to add those cool parts of the shark called the fins, right? So we have our gills, we have our eyes, we have our mouth. That's all good, but we're missing our fins. So go ahead and pick up those fins that you cut out earlier. Make sure you put them in a safe spot. And you should have 4. And you're just going to lay those out. And now we're going to just put some fins on our shark. And you can kind of see, if you have the instruction paper, you can kind of see where they put them on there. They put the 2 side fins right off the back from the inside toward here. So it's just going to be coming right out the side of our shark. And then we're actually going to take the 2 smaller ones and we're going to make 1 dorsal fin. And I'll show you how to do all that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on our side fin. So again, we're going to want it coming off the bottom part on the side, just right here. So we're just going to lay our cootie catcher down, facing down, where the white inside part is facing up. We're going to take a little bit of glue and we're going to go to this inside corner right here. And we're just going to glue a little bit. And this is going to be enough glue just on the little inside, just so it's sticky. So it's going to be right here. And we're going to take one of our side fins. And there is a little bit of a difference between these different fins, and I'll show you. So you have these 2 bigger fins, and these are going to be our side fins. And you have 2 smaller fins, and those are going to be the dorsal. So we're just going to put the dorsal away for right now. So just pick up one of the side ones. And remember, in the last video, we actually had our shark's arms facing up. This time we're going to have our shark facing down, all right? So whenever we do that, we're just going to pick whichever side you're working on right now, and we're going to make sure our shark's arms are facing down. And we want the blue side to match with the blue. So whenever we actually put it on here, it's going to look something like this, right? So that's what our shark's going to look like. And you're just going to lay it right on the inside, and you can just press it down. And you can look at it from the front if it's more helpful, just to make sure you really know what you're looking at. Yeah, so that's what he's going to look like. You're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So again, you're just going to lay it facing down. You can take your glue stick, get a little bit of glue on the side. And if the fin's a little bit, off, if it's more on the wrong side, if it's coming out the bottom, it's really okay. This is your shark. So, it's okay. Just do your best. If you need a grown-up to help you, that's totally fine. And you're going to get your fin, get your shark, and you're just going to put it basically the same way you did the last one. But the shark's fin is just coming off. Awesome. Hope you can see that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this dorsal fin. This part's a little bit more tricky, but as you can see, we already have a really cute looking shark, so it's totally okay if this part just goes wrong. It's totally fine. So we're going to lay our cootie catcher down, and we're going to get these 2 smaller fins. Remember? So we have these 2, and I know you're still like, why in the world do we have 2? Well, it's because we need it to come off the top, right? So it's just going to look like 1 fin after we do it. But we're going to want these to go on here, and they're actually going to come together whenever we glue it. That's the whole goal. So we're going to have both of these right here on each side, one on this side, and it's going to go right in toward the center, right where that middle fold is. We're going to take the other, and we're also going to glue it on that same spot. And it's going to make it look like there's just 1 fin right on the top. Okay, yeah. So we're going to be working on that now. So all you have to do is you have to take your cootie catcher, and we're going to take the very, very top corner, and I'm actually doing the, if it's facing away from me, I'm actually working on the very top right one. And if you remember, this is left, right? For me, this is left. This would be your right. Yeah, just like that. And we're going to be going right here, and you can do either side first. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the flat part. And then we're just going to take one of them, and we're just going to glue it where it's kind of coming in toward the middle. Okay? So I'm gluing mine a little bit to the side. That way it's kind of coming in like that. So here's just one of them, and he looks a little crazy and lopsided right now. Totally okay. He just has 1/2 of his dorsal fin, so we're about to fix that. And then we're going to take the same thing. We're going to do the other side. We're just going to make it come in sort of like that, right? All right, so we don't really want to give them bunny ears. We're trying to give them just 1 fin. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of glue right here toward the center. And make sure you get enough glue on there where it's really going to stick. And then we're going to take the other half of our dorsal fin. And this one you can really tell where it needs to go because you want to kind of mirror the last one. And if they're a little separated, that's totally fine. We're about to fix that too. So we're just going to make sure, so now we have 2. We have 2 of these little fins coming off the top. We want them stuck together because it's just 1 dorsal fin, right? They're not bunny ears. So our very, very last step is just to make sure these are glued together. So we're actually going to go to the back. We're just going to glue one of these little sides so that way we can fold them over. All right, so we're just going to put a little bit of glue. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on one side. That way I can take the other one, just like this, and just press them together. And there we have our shark. Awesome. So again, here we have our little tiny baby shark, I guess you could say. And if you'd like, you can, run around your house, sing Baby Shark as much as you want. This is a lot of fun. And remember that we're going to actually show these along with our shark craft, that we worked on last time, in order to really show for our showcase, right? So we're going to show all of these to everyone else, and you can have some fun dancing around with these. I hope you enjoyed the second part of Shark Attack. That's all for me, and I'll see you next time.